Okay, I think it's I think. Okay. TikTok. Hi, Penny. Hey, fellow Cody Comment. How are you? Yes. I hope everyone can hear us now. We are live again on YouTube, and I am just praying a loud ass dog, you guys. Hey, are you guys there with me? Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate you guys for coming back. Welcome to Nights with Nicci. Welcome to Nights with Nicci. I'm live on all platforms. You guys, am I okay now, audio wise? Is my audio doing okay? Is my audio okay? I know I'm good audio wise over here on LinkedIn, but my question is whether or not my audio. Hey, Sora, I see you. Will somebody please tell me if my audio on YouTube is doing okay? Is my audio on YouTube? Babe, is my audio okay? Hold on. Let's see. It's not good. It's still not good? What is going on? It's still choppy. Why is my audio still choppy? Guys, the devil is a liar. Still choppy and still crackling. Y'all, this is just, thank y'all so much. This is just, why is it doing this? Hold on. Good evening, everyone. It's still cracking. It's still bad. Where's my producer? Let me try to see if he can just fix it, while we're here instead of me going away from it again. Hey, babe. Honey. This is crazy how this audio is acting up. I'm so disappointed. Hold on. Honey. Y'all are my producers tonight because my producer is just, babe, just let's try to damn, Kato, you gonna tear the door down? Hey, babe, let's try to fix it live. We're gonna try to fix it live. I don't know what's going on. Hold tight for a second. Is it maybe the maybe it's no, don't take that. Don't take that out because that's Ethernet. You can take that one out. Maybe it's this one right here. You guys, he's gonna try to fix this mic. Still muted. Y'all, the devil is a liar. We not doing it. It's so much happening right now. It's just so much happening. Is it this cord maybe? No. My husband can fix anything, so if it's fixable, he's gonna be able to fix it. I mean, y'all can see me on TikTok. Let's see, because TikTok is working. What up, though, TikTok? Hey, Pam, I see you. I see you. Trying to get this audio right. I ain't never had audio issues like this live, honey. The devil is a liar, and the UDA, the owners of the algorithm, are liars too. Can you guys hear me? Much better? It's getting better? Okay. 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 Now, can you guys hear me? Is the audio okay? What is going on over here on Instagram? I'm going to have to end the live over there. Okay. How about that? Ugh. I'm sorry, y'all. What? Am I on YouTube? Yeah, I'm on Worth TV YouTube. Am I on Facebook as well? And I'm streaming on X. Okay. You guys, we're good now. We're good now. We're good now. Let's get into our show. Let's get into our mother freaking show because, child, listen. Let's just get with the first story. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. Okay, we're good. Audio is good. My audio is much better. Yeah, I don't know why this happened today, but it did. And to God be the glory that my husband came in and he fixed it. And that's why we're the dream team. Okay, let's just get on into the conversation, shall we? The first person we are talking about. How do I switch? That's what I didn't get. Oh my goodness. Um You guys, okay, I'm just gonna talk about it. I had the backdrop of Gladys Knight and all the people and all the things that I was gonna swap out, and I don't know how to do it now. So you guys just have to know that I am talking about the incomparable Gladys Knight. You guys. So here's the Gladys Knight story if you have not heard, and I really, really want to get into this because I feel like Gladys Knight is the perfect example of what my sister Angie Stone was talking about before she passed away. And I have to be careful about, what I say and how I choose my words and stuff as it relates specifically to Gladys Knight. Y'all let me know if I start having more audio issues, please. I appreciate you guys for letting me know that the audio is okay. Yeah, thank you. Please switch from IG so you can get a much better view of the show. So I was just singing to, hey, Moncherie, I was just singing to my audience a little earlier. And I have a really close connection to the Queen Gladys Knight. So this story really breaks my heart. I hate the fact that I have to report on it, especially reporting on it the way that I'm reporting on it, you guys. I said to TikTok earlier, my father wrote the song actually the year I was born, which is really crazy. Matter of fact, it came out, I think it came out like a day or so before my birthday, which is really crazy. But the song is If I Were Your Woman. If I were your woman and you were my man, you'd have no other woman. You'd be weak. That was the wrong key. You'd be weak as a lamb if I had the strength to walk out the door. My love would overrule my senses. Y'all, that my daddy wrote that song. My daddy wrote that song. And I am connected to the Queen Gladys Knight, and this story breaks my heart. So let me get into the story, my long-winded singing. I just want to give y'all a little 1-2 for waiting for me for 569,000 hours. So I also know Gladys Knight's son, Shanga, who I'm going to play the audio from that conversation because Shanga is someone that I don't see as a messy, got to be in the industry. In fact, he was one of those people who wasn't even really trying to pull the whole like my mother, do you know who my mother is, Gladys Knight thing, right? Shanga ran Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles. So he stepped into the shade room and spoke up on behalf of his mother. So this is what's going on with Angie, and this is what I meant when I said Angie Stone mentioned how difficult it becomes for creatives and for artists, you guys. And I know a lot of times for y'all it just seems like thank you for the likes on TikTok, and please hit like, share, and subscribe. At least like, at the very least, please hit like on YouTube. But Gladys Knight is incomparable as it relates to her gift. And her energy and her spirit is amazing. And it makes me think about when Angie Stone, before she died, talked about the fact that she didn't want to have to spend, her golden years on the road trying to work and make money. And I know a lot of times people think that artists are just being, you know, um, self-absorbed or egomaniacal or narcissistic or whatever. We should be glad to go out and make, a lot of money performing these dates. But baby, listen, that is not by choice for a lot of artists. I'm gonna get into the Gladys Knight story and I'm gonna unpack it a little bit more and give you guys a little bit more detail on what it's really like as a creative in this industry and how you have to work until you are 70, 80 years old. The OJs are still, Eddie Levert has lost so many children, it don't make no sense. And he still has to go out there and perform at top level, because if he does not, then the dates dry up. But here's the Gladys Knight story. Gladys Knight's son has made shocking claims regarding the singer's health status. In an interview with the Shade Room, Shanga Hankerson and his ex-wife Gloria accused Knight's husband, William McDowell, of elder abuse as his mother continues to tour despite alleged declining cognitive health. Hankerson has reportedly filed a complaint with the North Carolina Department of Human Services. I went and I bugged out, and we hugged, and he looked at me and he's like, it's so glad to see you, he said. Shanga, it's been so hard, recalled Hankerson of the reunion last year with Knight's longtime road manager, Larry Ward. I've never seen Larry break down and cry like that. I said, well, what is it, Larry? He couldn't put it into words. He continued to describe the performance at the aforementioned meetup. The band played for about 2 or 3 extra hours and she zoned out. The background singer started singing and that brought her back. They were having to rewind, I'm sorry, the teleprompters because my mom is forgetting to look at them. Ugh, this is so heartbreaking. I hate even reading this. I really do. And I'm going to play a little bit of the interview so you can hear it from Shanga's mouth. And then we're going to unpack this because this is that shit that Angie Stone was talking about, period. Hankerson added that his concern is not only about his mother's onstage presence and quality of performance, but he recalled that at his sentencing, she came to speak for me and she couldn't form a complete sentence or coherent thoughts. So he was found guilty or had a guilty plea for some personal stuff that went on. Like I said, I know Shanga, so I'm not going to put all that information out there. If you want the details of what he needed her to, um, speak about on his behalf or his legal issues, then look it up. It's public information. He also detailed alleged alarming text messages from McDowell, where her husband claimed that she had sundowner syndrome, as well as incidents of Knight being confused or wandering away. He said, this is Shanga, her son, I do not want my mom on tour on a tour bus wondering where she's at. I don't want that for her, Hankerson expressed. That's my mom. I truly love her, and I don't care about her ever working a second longer while she's alive. The direction that she's going is pushing her to her departure, and I don't want to see that. Knight is set to embark on the second leg of the Queen's Four Legends One Stage Tour next month with Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, Stephanie Mills, the first installment of the tour wrapped in June. I'm extremely concerned about how she's being handled right now, Hankerson remarked. And Vibe contacted her and her representatives for um, feedback on that. And, unfortunately, they didn't get it. So let me play a little bit of his interview with the Shade Room, and I want you guys to hear it from Shanga's mouth. Like I said, despite any legal troubles or legal issues he may have been through, Shanga, I know personally, both he and his wife Gloria, and they're good people. They're not, this isn't, clout chasing. This isn't them, trying to cause problems. I mean, Gladys has a grandson. Gloria and Shanga have a son together, and they want to make sure that their son's grandmother is taken care of. So let me go into this conversation from her son. Somebody said, "Why are you on here being messy?" Um, bling bling bling. Why don't you, not absorb any of the messiness I'm bringing? I'm actually asking you politely to move into another space. This is Gladys Knight's son. Take a listen. Can you guys hear that? Y'all can't hear that? Okay. That's crazy. Okay. I don't know what our audio issues are, what's going on with our audio issues tonight. It's, the devil is a liar. But basically it is a video we can't on YouTube, but you guys can hear me okay though, right? Still on YouTube. I've never had audio issues like this. It's ridiculous. Still no sound? You guys still can't hear me? You got to be kidding me. Again? Oh, you can. Okay. Okay. Let's get into this conversation. Um okay, good. You can hear me. So that clip that played was a clip of Gladys's son Shanga, and he basically was saying what I said when I read it, which is that he's concerned about his mother. He is concerned about her being on tour, and the fact that, I don't know if she's been diagnosed by a medical doctor, but there is some conversation about her having sundowners. And it's really sad because Gladys Knight is one of the premier divas, and an amazing singer. She's a grandmother, she's a mother, she has people in her lives that love her very, very much. And Angie Stone said this, and Angie, we mentioned it briefly last night. Angie got real sick, and other people get sick. I wanted to take time off when I had to take care of my sister. When I found out that she had terminal brain cancer, I wanted to stop working and just lean into my sister. And unfortunately, when you work in this business as a singer, as a performer, you live check to check. And that's the thing I wanted to say for people who might feel like, you know, artists have it made because you go out and you make a lot of money. Listen, guys, that is ebb and flow. You have to make um that money last. There are times when you work and you work a lot, and then there are times when you really don't work at all. And you have to figure out a way to make that stretch. There's no 401k. There's no, as much as you think that, because Gladys Knight has been making music and performing on stage since she was like 5 or 6 years old. Maybe a little bit older than that. You guys, please make sure you hit the like button. But she has been performing on stage since she was very, very young. Very, very young. I remember seeing pictures of her as like a little girl on stage performing, and I wish that I had time to pull it up. But the fact that Gladys Knight does not have the respect that so many other um, of her peers that are non-black, right? They're good, right? They can retire. They can go back on. Ozzy Osbourne isn't going back on the road. Well, I'm sorry, God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. But Ozzy Osbourne don't have that problem, right? I doubt if Dolly Parton got that problem. I doubt if Willie Nelson got that problem. I doubt if artists that are in the same age group as Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle and Shaka Khan have to go out and play these days. Now, again, I'm not, let me say this, okay? Let me backtrack a little bit because I done stepped a little out of bounds, and to the person's point, this is a little messy. I don't know what her finances are. I don't know whether or not she has to or needs to work consistently. I am assuming that part of the reason why she's on the road consistently working is because even if she, doesn't need to, from the way things sound based on what her son has said about her husband, he is forcing her, allegedly, allegedly, he is pushing her out there, and she needs to be going into her golden years relaxing and not stressed out and not on the road, especially if being on the road means that she's walking outside of her hotel room and she is forgetting where she is. That's very dangerous for a woman like Gladys Knight to just be randomly. And listen, if you don't have an elder in your life where you've ever seen the effects of Alzheimer's and what it does and how negatively it impacts people, man, listen, it is a very, very serious thing. And I don't know that she has that, but I know that I know her son. I know his ex-wife Gloria. I know that they're decent, good people who really care about Miss Gladys Knight. Gladys and my father were good friends. They not only did If I Were Your Woman, my dad did maybe I don't know, 3 or 4 songs with Miss Gladys Knight. So if it's they feel like extended family, I don't know what's happening. I don't want to disrespect anybody by speaking out of turn, but I think that the reason we had these platforms and channels and opportunities to speak, you know, our opinions and be authentic and truthful and honest is so that we can shed light on situations like this. And I'm going to the Wendy Williams story next because that's a important conversation for us to have as well. But it's just I'm so tired of seeing our legends, our queens, people that we thought were our kings. Hello, you know what I mean? The music industry is one of the most difficult businesses to be a part of because you don't work unless you work the way they want you to work. And you have to work the way that they want you to work for your whole life, right? Which is crazy. All the way up until you 80 years old. Some people are even older than that. Look at Frankie Beverly and Maze, right? And again, you can say people have money in the bank. They didn't need to work. People who don't need to work, my dog is in here snoring. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's just sound issues, the dog snoring. I'm sorry. Let's just call tonight, one of them ones. But people who don't need to work don't work, especially as you get into those later years. So I hope that her team and the people around her who have the power to determine whether or not she's going to go out and do these days. Do we want to see her out on that stage performing and being at her best? Absolutely. But we don't want to see her on stage if what her road manager and her son and her daughter-in-law are saying is true. We don't want to see our queen Gladys Knight to be on stage stuck or in a space where she zones out and forgets where she is. I do not know if that is what happened because I wasn't there and I didn't see that happen on the stage. But I believe that her son and, like I said, her daughter-in-law and her road manager who's been with her forever would know. And there's no way that he would be putting his mother out there on blast and putting his mother out up front and center. And that's the thing, it goes back to kind of what we was talking about a little bit last night with people who have opinions and they weren't there. They don't know the people. You know what I'm saying? They have no idea what the entire fuck they talking about, but they run their mouths as if they are an authority on somebody else's life and somebody else's experience. And it's just sad that our community would attack and not believe Gladys Knight's son and daughter-in-law and longtime road manager because of some story that you have in your mind that you created that you weren't even there to really be a part of creating. So as a community, I think when we hear people speaking out, again, especially when it's someone who is very close, to Miss Gladys Knight, take what they're saying seriously, believe what they're saying, and support them in whatever way that you can. So thank you guys on TikTok. I really appreciate the love. I really appreciate the hearts. Yeah, I'm so tired. I started saying this on the live earlier and I don't think you guys could hear me, but I've been in the studio. You guys, we worked on something so freaking dope tonight. It's so good. And I cannot wait for y'all to hear it. It's so good. So shout out to Brownstone in the lab working on some really amazing stuff. Jamil says most of them are afraid of retiring because that's their comfort zone. Aretha didn't have money problems and she performed all the way until the end. And Jamil said, I go see Gladys every single year. I just saw her in May and I definitely noticed a difference. Okay, so they went and they saw her and they noticed a difference. And again, I stand corrected. I don't know that she's performing because she needs it, but hey, a lot of people do. And maybe there are folks out there who don't need it, but I know that Angie Stone needed it. You know what I'm saying? I need it. A lot of other legendary veteran acts need to work to be able to pay the bills. And the way this industry has treated artists not giving them their just due, not giving them the royalty rates and things that they deserve on these records that are streaming left and right. Um, you have to perform because there's no 401k, right? There's no like, yeah, you might have your house paid for, you may have equity in your home, you may have, real estate here and there, but the ability to maintain yourself, do you have enough money in the bank if you're 70 years old or 65 years old as an artist and as a creative to carry yourself into your golden years at the lifestyle that you're accustomed to and the level that you're accustomed to, where you could just stop working and not do that? I don't think there are a lot of Black artists out there that are in positions to do it. Tally says Aretha needed it. Like, I ain't putting people business in the street, but I'm just saying people have mortgages, people have car notes, people have grandkids, college educations. People, if you get sick one or two times, do you know when I saw what my sister's hospital bill was? I was like, oh yeah, so if you had a couple $1,000,000, you'd be done if you get cancer or something along the lines of that. So again, these artists may not have to work, but the vast majority of them are on the road touring and working because they need to. So I'm not gonna stay on the Gladys Knight story for the whole night. Thank you guys on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Shout out to my Twitter family. I got some popping on the Twitter family. I appreciate you. All right, you guys. So speaking of another person in this industry that we absolutely love and adore. I mean, I love and adore Wendy Williams. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, she getting what she got and blah, 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 blah. And she talked about people and this and that and the third, but everybody on YouTube does it. Honestly, the reason her ratings were so high is because people enjoyed what she did. And she was really the best to do it, sitting in that purple chair, giving what needed to be gave. And folks, my mother loved watching Wendy Williams. Her audience, she has a huge audience. So even if there are people out there who are like, oh, that's what she get and blah, 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 I don't wish illness. Please hit like as you come into the YouTube channel. Please hit like and please give me hearts and likes on TikTok. TikTok, thank y'all for rolling with me through all these audio issues and stuff because, man, that shit was ghetto. I know. And I'm hopefully try to cut it off at the beginning of the YouTube so y'all ain't got to sift through all that. But these audio issues was for the birds. Okay, but back to Wendy Williams. So, Wendy Williams' guardianship was going to stay in place. She got a new medical evaluation, y'all. And the court will keep the former talk show's host, according to BET.com. The court is going to keep the former talk show host under legal guardianship until at least November, right? And I'm gonna cover my face. Y'all, what the hell is going on tonight? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, Lord. They're gonna keep her in this executor legal guardianship situation until November as the disputes over her diagnosis intensify. So Wendy Williams' court-appointed guardianship will remain in place for now following the completion of an extensive medical evaluation. According to legal documents reviewed by People, the television personality underwent a variety of tests and scans, including brain imaging, to assess her neurological condition, and doctors have reached a formal opinion on her diagnosis. Though the specifics were not disclosed in the paperwork. In 2024, her medical care team confirmed that she has been living with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia since 2023. Her guardian's attorney has requested that the current stay be extended until November 3rd, giving the presiding judge time to decide if the guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, will continue her role and whether Williams is in need of a guardian at all. All right, so the filing notes complications in this case, which attorneys for members of Wendy Williams' family, her ex-husband Kevin Hunter, and others signaling plans to challenge both guardianship and Morrissey's position. The update comes months after Williams was removed from her assisted living facility by NYPD in March and taken to a hospital for an incident she later discussed on Good Day LA. So I'm gonna play this clip of Wendy on Good Day LA, and then we're gonna come back. Well, I'm not gonna play no clip because y'all can't hear the clip because the audio is on some bullshit today. So let's talk a little bit about this Wendy Williams thing because it has really stressed me out. and I usually don't get stressed out by other people's problems because I got so many of my own that I'm dealing with. But what is really just hard to digest about this Wendy Williams thing is that it's Wendy Williams. I mean, y'all feel me? It's Wendy Williams, which means she was by far one of the most successful TV personalities on the face of the earth. And she no longer has control over her own affairs, her own business, her own money, her own home. Who is standing over her shoulder telling her what to do? What the hell is going on? What world do we live in, Linda, where you work your whole life, make millions and millions of dollars, not just for yourself, but for other people, for other big companies, right? And by the way, I've said this before. Company that owns Deadmar, I don't know if they still own Deadmar, but Lionsgate produces Wendy Williams and Sherry Shepherd show. They're one of the producers on it, big producers. But anyway, I digress. So the idea that you could be Wendy Williams, the person that everybody wanted to come and be on your show, and if you did the Wendy Williams show, the next day your ratings for whatever thing you were promoting were through the roof, your sales were through the roof, whatever. The fact that Wendy Williams cannot even control what time she leaves the house to go get a cup of coffee at Starbucks is mind blowing to me. And it is really sad that as a community, people are so dead set on hating her because of what she did for a living and how Howard Stern did the same. So many people. TMZ does what Wendy Williams does or did. So many people do the same shit. And for whatever reason, Black women get a really bad rap. I don't understand that. I will never understand that. And the fact that she doesn't have any real allies outside of what appears to be a whole bunch of vultures around her, taking from her and putting her in a position where she can't even control the very basic 1, 2, 3 moments of her life is just so sad. And it should be a warning to anybody who believes that they're going to get to where Wendy Williams was. They're the next Wendy Williams, or they're the next queen of, if you don't have ownership of your shit and people in your corner and people in your business that care about you and want to make sure, because most creatives and talented people are not very good at the business, the infrastructure of the business and the handling and running of the business. I'm not good at that shit. I'm better at it than some people, but I'm not good at it at all, because it's just, when you're a creative, you want to do the business of creating the product or the content that your people on your team who are the business side of it take care of. In this industry, there's so many predators and so many people who rely on artists and creatives, i.e., whatever's happening with Miss Gladys Knight, for their livelihood and to feed them and to feed their children. It's so many artists that have made billions of dollars out here that don't even have medical insurance. So many artists that have slipped through the cracks. And you have content and stories and ideas that have made billions of dollars collectively at the box office. It just is not fair. And I don't know how anybody, knowing what we know now, I'm in this industry. I've been in this industry for 30 years. It's really hard for me to imagine just starting all over, going to school, figuring out a new trade and starting a new career. Although I could, and God willing, if that's what I have to do, I will. But we should be able to live off of the fat of the land that we fertilized. And it's just so sad that not more people have value, or believe, I'm sorry, that artists have value, or they should be taken care of. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Please give me likes, give me hearts, give me love. I appreciate y'all so much for it. So my heart breaks when I hear that Wendy Williams is still going to be in this guardianship. Again, I wasn't there, so we have to be careful. I'm saying maybe the doctors, obviously the doctors know more than we do. Not maybe. Obviously the doctors know more than we do. And I just hope that, she finds a tribe of people who really care about her, um, to look out for her, because it does not seem like she has a lot of like sister girl co-aunties kind of been there. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It doesn't feel like she has a bunch of women like that in their lives. And listen, I'm really grateful. I used to think that it was the worst shit ever to be in my family when and come and have your aunts and your cousins letting your ass have it. If you gain 30 pounds over the summer and you came to Thanksgiving dinner, somebody was going to tell you about it. I see you getting wide. I see you not putting down no bread. I see you such and such. You know what I'm saying? If you walked up in a room and you were a little tipsy, what, you've been in there drinking? You've been in there, you know what I'm saying? And I know that it is very naggy, nagalicious, nagarific, and annoying. But I love that I come from a family of women who just say what the hell they have to say to you. Don't beat around the bush, and not just say it to be mean, right? I'm not saying that, it does sound mean when somebody be like, yeah, I see your ass getting wide. Shame on you. But checking you to remind you, you slipping, you slouching, you getting messy, you getting sloppy. You know what I mean? And so often, artists and creatives and people who are the main breadwinners in their family, let's talk about it. Please give me some hearts, y'all. Artists and creators and people who are the main breadwinners in their family, a lot of times don't have the benefit of people in their lives that are going to keep it all the way real with them, because everybody wants to be cool with them, because everybody wants something from them, right? And I get it. Like, if you're the only person in your family who has had a certain level of success in entertainment or whatever it is, or you was the person that made the first little bag that you thought was a big bag but really wasn't shit, because that's the other thing, y'all. If I told you what our signing bonus was in 1993, y'all would be like, oh, for real? Like, seriously. I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, right? Which is why it's ridiculous that we still owe them $1 million. I don't understand the concept of how so many artists are still in debt, still owing record companies millions of dollars unrecouped. And I always do the math. We sold almost 4 million records at $10 a pop. That means that from Brownstone's first album, that record has made over $40 million. Let's put it in perspective. How we jump from Wendy to Brownstone. Because imagine the advertising dollars that Wendy Williams show brought in after all those years. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine $40 million Brownstone made, the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars that Wendy Williams made. Think about all the if Brownstone, we was on the low kind of like CD list, R&B list, right? We weren't even, I mean, well, no, we weren't. Shit, because our song's still in rotation today. Hello, say it. Still getting requests for samples. Literally got one yesterday. But my point is just, and even with that, literally got a sample request yesterday. That ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Because people know that artists and creators are struggling. And again, how artists can make $40 million in sales of all these records y'all bought. Y'all bought $40 million worth of CDs all over the world globally to date for Brownstone, close to $40 million. And that's if it was wholesaled at $10. Y'all know them CDs used to be $19, $20 sometime. Had to catch that shit on sale. You feel me? But anyway, it's sad because Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston. Let's put this in perspective. Because somebody said, when I was talking about the Gladys Knight story, somebody mentioned that maybe she didn't need it. Y'all, Michael Jackson had moments where he needed it. In his Michael Jacksonness of it all. So many creatives and so many artists. I talked about Salt and Pepper on my conversation. Please hit like, you guys, as you're coming in on TikTok, and please hit like as you're coming in on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else. And if you're watching from all those other platforms, I know people be in their comfort zones. Please give me them hearts. Give me some hearts. Please give me some hearts. If y'all give me enough hearts, then I'll sing a song for you. I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs. I made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life on stages with 10,000 people watching. Yeah, we're alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. Y'all gonna keep making me sing for hearts. Come on now, I'm tired. I've been in the studio all night. Please. I know your image of me. All right. Yeah. Donny Hathaway's another story. Donny Hathaway's another story. The story of artists and creatives. Let me get Wendy off my screen. You guys pray for Wendy Williams. She's still stuck in her executorship or whatnot. And that's terrible. But the story of artists and creatives has always been, from Prince to Michael Jackson to Bob Marley to Whitney Houston to Diana Ross to Phyllis Hyman to every creative, most creatives and artists that we know have had a really tough time in this industry. And it's really sad because all artists want to do is spread love. We want to sing our songs. We want to, make people happy. We want people to get out on that stage and really, we want to get on the stage and really bring people joy. And a lot of people are singing through a lot of hurt. A lot of people are singing through a lot of heartache and pain. People always be like, "Why, girl, why don't you sing? Why don't you sing? You should sing more, you should sing more." It is a spiritual connection to God when you open up your mouth and you put your chords together, your vocal cords together, and you create sound, because it doesn't come from we all have vocal cords, right? And this is just, I'm talking singer language, whether you're a writer, everybody got a pen and a piece of paper, but everybody can't write an amazing story or amazing show. We all have vocal cords, but we can't all sing like a lot of people can sing, right? And that is because it is something spiritually connected to the gifted ones, to the artists, right? And whether you're an artist that uses your hands or your voice or whatever it is, you bring something positive into the world, and you share a part of your soul, and you share a part of your spirit, and you share what God gave you as a gift to hopefully make people feel better about their lives, to make people feel better about, where would we be without Negro spirituals? Where would our ancestors who picked cotton be without the ability to sing their way through the pain? And not just sing their way through the pain, but for all the people around them in earshot of it. That's the reason why you hear something and it gives you goosebumps when you hear a certain riff. That's the reason why you hear a song and it just brings this rush of emotions, right? Because God gave gifted people something really special. But that is such a double fucking edged sword. Because the type of sensitivity that you have to tap into, please hit like, you guys. Hate to sound like I'm hustling and pandering and begging for likes, but please hit the like button. Please and thank you. God just blessed artists with something that makes us also very vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable as a creative and as an artist, and you're surrounded by vultures and people who don't give a shit about you, and people who are only interested in you making money, i.e. whoever it is pushing Gladys Knight out on that stage night after night after night, even though she needs to rest. That woman has been making records since forever, and she deserves to sit down and rest and not be wandering about with her family not knowing where she is and what she's doing, and having a good manager. I thank God. Thank you, Jesus. I thank God that we have managers and handlers who really care about us and care about our well-being. And yeah, at the end of the day, people are in this business to make money, and people are in this business to, make sure that, you know, your legacy stays alive by making sure you out there working and stuff. But having people performing when they're not healthy or not well, either mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, is really fucked up. And the industry has become a place where you cannot rest. You have to keep going. You have to push through. I said earlier, I believe Mr. Eddie Levert, he lost his son Gerald. He lost his son um, Sean, Gerald's brother. He lost his daughter. He still had to perform. I believe it was Bobby Brown who said that he found out about either what happened with Whitney or what happened with Bobby Christina. Please hit like, guys. It was Bobby Brown who said that what happened, he was on stage. He still had to perform because you don't have the luxury of just tapping out when you're an artist and a creative. You have to keep working or your family can't make it, because the way the industry is set up for artists and creatives is so that we always have to find ourselves working to dig ourselves out of holes. Angie talked a lot about it before she passed away on her YouTube. Please go to her YouTube channel. You can still support her YouTube channel. Whitney Houston, somebody mentioned Whitney. I'm gonna tell you this. I heard this with my own mouth, and I want to say I think it might have been on the Barbara Walters special that she did, but she talked about how she wanted to take a break. She talked about how she wanted to take Bobby Christina, go to an island, and just rest and just take a break. I don't know what episode what interview that was. If anybody knows what interview that is, you guys please continue to give me lives, more likes. Um, hit the like, please, and go to wirf.tv YouTube channel and subscribe. But yeah, Whitney Houston talked about the fact that she wanted to rest. I think it was either right after The Bodyguard or right before. And see, that's the thing. She said it a few times. Petty Nation said it was Whitney. Yes, she said it a few times. So imagine you, Whitney Houston. You the greatest voice there ever was. I'm sorry. I just feel like that. It's just my person. Well, I mean, no, I can't really say that because Aretha Franklin. Okay, one of the greatest voices there ever was, because there's a bunch of really great ass voices out there. But it's a shame. It is really a shame when you look out and you see, and let's take it out of music even. If you notice, there are a lot of like our favorite actresses and influence um, film stars and stuff that are now like doing their side hustles, whether it's hair care products or wine or whatever, because you do those movies. Taraji, that is the example. Taraji P. Henson said it. Taraji said it. You never get paid what you're worth. So you do these movies and people think because they're still seeing these movies to this day, people think because they still, If You Love Me has probably spent on the radio 692 million trillion thousand hundred times. And you would be surprised at how little we make from it. People have this idea of celebrity, and maybe not anymore because now we are able to break down the third wall and I'm sorry, fourth wall, but celebrities ain't really got it like that, you guys. Y'all know I ain't got it like that. How Tasha K say I ain't got it. Because in real life, everything I have is in the middle of this lawsuit that I'm not even talking about tonight. So let's forget about that. But my point is just that a lot of people are of the impression that celebrities are doing really, really well, and they made all this money, and they got $1 million homes and this and that and the third. But that's what people do. People invest a lot of times in homes or property or stocks or kids' educations or whatever, and they still have to be able to support their families and support themselves. And the thing is, we are never given the education about how to manage our resources and how to manage our money and how to make it last for generations. We're never given that education because why? Let me give y'all a real simple, stupid version of this. Why would a company, and so I'm not being messy, putting nobody else's business in the street because I don't know how much people money make money folks makes, and I ain't trying to be all in people's wallets. Let's talk about brownstone. Why would someone who wants us to believe that we still owe them $1 million, because we do, there's still $1 million debt on the books from brownstone. It's not quite a million, it's 897,000. No, it's over a million now. I looked at it last time, it was like 1,000,002 or something like that we still owe. 31 years later, after we have sold 4 million records at $10 a pop wholesale. So who is going to tell a 23 or 24-year-old that they know 30 years from now you still gonna owe us $1 million after we make 40 million off of your ass? We gonna make $40 million in record sales off of you, and you're still gonna owe us $1 million. So it's $41 million that has to be recouped. And our first album budget was like $350,000. Or was, no, the second album budget was $350,000. The first album budget, I think, was $250,000. So you're not going to educate a talent or a creative or an artist about how to count money, how to pay taxes, how to pay your bills. We're not going to be educated in any of that. What we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to perform, and we're going to show out on them stages, and people going to clap for us, and we're going to be 23 and 24 and geeked up. She geeked up. And you're going to write home to your parents and your family. Then every time you go to dinner, you're going to be treating your family. Why? Because your family ain't never been in a nice restaurant like this. When I moved to California, I literally moved my whole freaking family with me. Cousins, sisters, nieces, and that. I never had less than 5 people in my house at a time, basically, when I was in LA and out there, right? So you out here thinking you balling out of control, buying people shit. I remember I co-signed for a car. I remember I paid these bills. I remember, still do the dumb shit. Well, I don't do it because I ain't got it now. But my point is just, no one educates artists and creatives about how you are supposed to manage your money. Nobody tells you about how you're able, and then you look up and you are hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt because you didn't pay what you were supposed to pay, your bills and your taxes and your this and your that and the third, and you are up to your neck. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm 24 years old. And so this industry has never been set up for us to win. And yeah, people could very easily say, well, you were adults. Yeah, I was 23 years old when I signed my contract, just barely an adult. And it was Michael Jackson. And here's the thing I want to clear up, because I've been talking a lot about all that stuff. It wasn't like Michael Jackson set us up to not have a good contract and not be successful. That is the contract that anybody who they don't, artists get the contract that they get. There's no you 18, 19, 15, 17, 22, 23. Ain't too many people over 26 or 27 getting record deals like that. Unless you just like really are dope and, already established and already have a fan base. They want young, impressionable, geeked up, uneducated, ill-informed youth who are gifted and emotional and don't have parents who have the experience of telling us don't do this. Because even though my dad was like, oh, if you see perpetuity, run away from it because of his deal back in the day and all that, which was a good, bit of advice, but you run away from it and the next person right behind me that's waiting to sign their contract is running towards it, right? It's like with reality TV. Honey, once you get on there and you clown and you show your ass, you have to keep doing that to keep your job. Because guess what? If you don't, then the young reality starlet behind you will certainly do it for a lot less money than you, because that's the thing. Even, it's funny, I was looking at a video with Stars, I want to say. And the head of Stars was saying, yeah, look, while y'all think it's me holding up P Valley, this little bit I will say, I need some hearts for this information. This is some good information. This is especially if you've been waiting on P Valley. Especially if you've been waiting on P Valley, you want to hear this. Google, if you want to, Google, Star CEO says after season 2 and 3 and 4, shows become more expensive, so you try to find ways to cut those costs. It ain't just them as stars. Everybody, right? You feel like you have invested your blood, sweat, and tears. You done fought and argued with people on reality TV. You created a hit show. The characters are doing really well. The characters are very successful. You feel like I'm going to grow with this brand as this brand makes money and this brand gets exposed to more people. I too am going to make money and get exposed to more people, only to discover that they trying to wean your ass out after you done 3 or 4 seasons. Think about it. Do the math. Think about the reality TV stars that you see do 2, 3, 4 seasons and they never come back. I just saw where Nene Leakes just posted that she never received an offer and Kenya's not coming back. Maybe they gonna guide you about the pasture or guide you into the pasture to graze, but you're not gonna be in the house with the folks. And that is because, unfortunately, business gives two flying frog legs about making sure that the creatives and the artists and the people whose backs these projects and these properties and these songs and this intellectual property was built on, they don't care about you establishing generational wellness or generational wealth for your family in the future. That is why Wendy Williams doesn't have any ownership of the Wendy Williams show, right? I was looking at this guy on social media. He's like, yeah, entertainment industry is so crazy. Like, you have to have uh transportation. You have to have a place to perform. I'm paraphrasing what the man said, but he was basically naming all of these resources that entertainers and artists um, have to utilize, and said, why is it that artists and entertainers don't have access to ownership of these venues? Because imagine, and again, I said this earlier, not every artist wants to own a business or be a business owner, because most creatives are not that good at running business, which is another reason why we're such easy targets. But maybe there are people in our community that can partner with artists that really care about artists, that do have the business acumen and the business savvy to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in this theater. And a great example of that is there's an organization of brothers called the Black Promoters Collective. Look up BPC. They got the Brandy and Monica tour out right now. They did Mary J. Blige. I think they did a couple of really big tours, and we work with them a lot. A lot. Shout out to the Black Promoters Collective. But they're an example of what I'm talking about. AEG, Live Nation, all of those really big companies, it's great when they offer you gigs and tours and stuff, but it's really cool and refreshing. Sound like a 7-Up commercial, don't I? Please hit like, you guys, as y'all are coming in here. Please hit like. I don't see my likes moving on YouTube. I need my likes to move on YouTube, because it lets the people know that you guys are enjoying these gems that I am dropping. And I'm tired and I'm rambling, but I'm going to still share these jewels. And y'all pick a few, 2 or 3 of them up out of there. But I guess the bottom line of this long-winded ass explanation of just how foul shit is in this industry is that we, unfortunately, as artists and creatives, were positioned to fail from the start. Right? When you think about hip hop and you think about all the gangster rap and, drill rap and trap rap and all that other stuff that is out there, it's people getting paid everywhere from that. People are getting paid from them going to jail. Prisons are growing. People are going to be paid because the people who are out here singing those songs. Thank you for the badges on TikTok. I'm sorry. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Vivica said it best: when you learn the business, and this, yes, you got to learn the business and the business side of business, but what person in their early 20s or even 30s at that point really know it? And there's so much they keep from you. So I'm going to share that too. But my point is just, when you think about rap, drill rap, gangster rap, all that stuff, it's not just the artists that you see in the courtroom, right? On a RICO charge or whatever. It's all the people, the millions of people that artist's music and lyrics and lifestyle has been able to reach. So when you think about an industry that breeds toxic, destructive behavior in our community, drink, act bad, do terrible things, get teardrops tattooed on your eyes, go to jail, they're sending that message out to our youth. Our kids are hearing that over and over like a mantra. And they want to live that lifestyle and glorify that lifestyle. And everybody wins except the Black community. The labels win because the records sell through the roof. The liquor companies win because the liquor sells through the roof. The prisons win because the prisons stay full. The system that capitalizes and monetizes off of Black women and single mothers not having the fathers in the house and the insecurities of that's bred through the music. Everybody wins through these messages that they continuously pump into our communities. And it's just really sad because in the 70s and in the 80s and even in the 90s, the messaging in the music was so much more positive. You guys, I've been on my C. Dolores Tucker soapbox for quite a while because she was just such an important figure in our community. And people did the same thing that they did to me, the same thing they did to Monique, the same thing they do to any woman who speaks up on behalf of our community to try to improve what is happening in our communities. They vilify and demonize and get the world to turn against the messages of hope and how we try to make things better for our community and for one another. And they dog C. Dolores Tucker out so bad. Wonder why they they call you a bitch. Shout out to Jewel. Wonder why they call you bitch. What? That lady was trying to help our community thrive and grow and took it all the way to the Capitol. And they called her every name in the book. And they said, and granted, she's out of touch and she did it wrong. And she should have, didn't I say earlier in this live, when you come from women. Oh, they want to talk just about Sara Stokes. Nicci, when you gonna talk about Sara Stokes? I'm gonna talk about the Sara Stokes thing. Okay, went on a tangent. But when you come from communities where women who love you, there's something called tough love. And they are going to say it the way that it comes out. You're not going to correct your grandmother. You're not going to correct your auntie. You're not going to correct your mother. You're not going to correct the matriarchs in your family. So why would you be so disrespectful to someone else's a matriarch from someone else's family, like a C. Dolores Tucker? Or any of those women who have been fighting for our community and for better. We have to do better, you guys. We have to do better as a community of people. We have to treat our artists and our advocates and people who are really trying to help our community. We have to treat them better. Let me get into the Sara Stokes story. Yep, I'm under an hour. Let me get into this Sara Stokes situation because it's another story that I'm kind of, well, not the story. I actually was really surprised when I saw this. I didn't know this was even happening. Hold on, let me pull it up, you guys. Yep, I did not even know it was happening. So if you're on YouTube, there is a picture. I tried to add the picture on doggone for each person I was talking to. I had a picture of Wendy for y'all, I had a picture of Gladys for y'all, and I had a picture of Sara Stokes for y'all. And for some reason, TikTok ain't let me be great. Y'all gonna have to give me a crash course on how I add the backdrop. So while I'm talking about it, but right now, if you're watching me on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any of those other platforms, you see that I have a photograph of Sara Stokes and P. Diddy up from the Jasmine brand. I did not know that this was even happening. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. And also, just if you haven't already, we have a ton of content involving Sara Stokes on WIRF.TV YouTube channel and also on the TikTok. There's a bunch of stuff on that TikTok too. Oh, you guys, that's a picture of me back there. Okay. According to the Jasmine brand, Diddy has scored another courtroom victory as a judge dismissed 21 of the 22 claims filed against him by former Making the Band singer Sarah Rivers. I'm sorry, I have got to fix my lips because I love Sarah and I keep referring to her as Sara Stokes. She is now happily remarried. Her name is Sarah Rivers. No disrespect to her husband. I'm going to start referring to her as Sarah Rivers. But that's the reason why my name is hyphenated, because y'all will be like, Nicci Daniels, who is that? But anyway, according to legal documents obtained by TMZ, the dismissed claims, which included racketeering, assault, battery, forced labor, and sexual harassment and false imprisonment, were tossed with prejudice, meaning they cannot be refiled. The sole remaining claim under the Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act is on hold pending a higher court ruling. Rivers has sued in February alleging that Diddy subjected her to hostile and inhumane treatment on the reality series, citing incidents like being forced to walk for cheesecake, to sleep in an open bay with male cast members. She also accused him of sexual harassment and career sabotage. Her attorney, Ariel Mitchell, said, "We plan to appeal and we look forward to more litigation specifically against Diddy." How do I want to approach this conversation? So, for those of you who don't know, Sara Stokes was on my show. Not my show, it's the show that Queen Latifah and I produced together. Please hit the like button. Sara was on a show that Queen Latifah and I produced together called From the Bottom Up. From the Bottom Up was a story of, it was a series that was basically centered around women who had been at the top of their careers, doing really well in their lives, hugely successful. And for reasons either, they made poor decisions or, you got caught in the crossfire or whatever, for lack of a better word, they hit rock bottom. Sara had initially reached out to me because she wanted to be on R&B Divas. And I was like, no, I have something even better for you. And it turns out she reached out to me while she was in jail. I still actually have that phone conversation. But Sara has, let me start this by saying, I want to tread lightly when it comes to claims being dismissed without credit and, cases not being able to pursue and go forward, because I currently have a case pending in the Supreme Court of the United States against Lionsgate, P Valley Stars, Gattori Hall, and a number of other people. And the point of it is that I was denied due process. Um, um, Sara lived a very difficult, she had a very difficult childhood, terrible. In fact, we have a documentary film that will be released called Broken Things. And it chronicles her journey from the time she was 3 or 4 years old until the time she left her father's house. Sara was the victim of child sexual misconduct, abuse, and violence, and it was heinous. Please make sure you guys hit like, share, and subscribe. You can see the trailer for the documentary film Broken Things on WIRF.TV YouTube channel, and I share clips from time to time. She talked about the domestic violence that she had to endure with her ex-husband, Tony. They actually, in her own words, beat up on each other. So it was a very turbulent, difficult marriage, and it was really hard for the kids. We spent a lot of time together filming this documentary, between the documentary and the docuseries From the Bottom Up. And I never heard about this part of things with Puffy. I never knew about any of this. And I was very shocked because I know a lot about her life. I know a lot about what she had to endure, as a young woman. And her father, her biological father, how he violated her, how he violated a bunch of people in the neighborhood. In fact, it was our series From the Bottom Up, which helped get him sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison for child sexual assault. So to hear, after we filmed for a couple of years and were very intimately involved in Sara's story, please, guys, make sure you guys hit like, make sure you share this video, and on TikTok, make sure you guys subscribe to WIRF.TV YouTube channel. Please hit the like button. It means a lot. But the fact that Sara never mentioned it and the stuff that went on with Puff. And I remember specifically asking about it, and she never mentioned it. Maybe she just didn't feel safe at the time. I know a lot of people were probably like, I'm not going to mention him until other people started mentioning him and it started to come up. But this is how I feel about Puffy. And I got to be real. I'm sorry, Diddy. I met him as Puffy, so it's hard for me. If I meet you as a certain person, it's kind of hard. Thank you, Joy Joy, for the gift. Thank you for the badge. Thank you for the badges. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. And you too, please hit the like button. Sarah's husband, Tony, who is straight, no mother flipping chaser. Tony Stokes, I'm sorry, her ex-husband, Tony Stokes, is one of the most say anything, don't care who his feelings hurt or who toes he steps on. It's 1:00. Oh my God, I gotta get off this shit. Lord, I know it's late. Tony Stokes is straight no shooter. I mean, straight no chaser. I have never heard this conversation come up. So I'm shocked that all these things happen and we never heard about it. But I will say this. Diddy was found not guilty for a lot of those charges after a lengthy trial. And I felt from jump that there may have been some overcharging going on as I started to watch the case and see things play out. Do I think that what we saw on that videotape was absolutely freaking horrible and hard to watch? Absolutely. I'm a very vocal advocate of women. Do I think that he was overcharged? Yes. Do I think that people, and this is not me making excuses for anybody's toxic, destructive behavior. That's not what it is. But do I think that people, do I know for certain, not think, that people are in DV situations where they're getting their beat every day in front of kids and children, and it does not make it right, but really hostile, terrible, destructive domestic situations every single day don't get the kind of media attention and outrage and advocacy for victims that this case got. And maybe it's because they actually saw it happening on the video. But that should be even more reason for all those videos that you didn't see of women encountering that, to take those cases just as seriously. What makes their cases less important than Cassie's case? They're not. Any woman who gets beat and abused and hurt like that deserves to have the person who did it put in jail. But the video we watched of Diddy doing what he did to Cassie, as terrible as it was past the statute of limitations, number one. It happens to women every single day. So if we're going to make a big fuss about what we saw in that video happen to Cassie, then anybody complaining about what happened to Cassie should be donating to, volunteering for, standing up with any survivor of domestic violence. There are domestic violence shelters all over the world. If you are that outraged by what Puffy did to Cassie and that disgusted by what you saw, then that should motivate you to make sure that you're looking out for other women and other young girls and other people in the communities that are suffering from the exact same or worse, people who have lost their lives. I had a acid attack survivor, Christy Sims, on my show from the I'm sorry, She Speaks Live a couple years ago, where this man poured hot acid on her face, disfigured her completely. Somebody that she was dating, and oh, it's too dark. You can't do anything with that because it's just so heavy, it's so dark. But you can make what's happening with Diddy front and center on your network. That's not too dark. The Sara Stokes documentary about what happened to her in her childhood and how she talked about that on the From the Bottom Up series, it was all too dark and no levity and too heavy for viewers. And we don't know that we can put this out there without there being an issue. But every media outlet on the motherfucking planet was covering the dark, twisted, sadistic shit that was going on with Diddy. So when people question where I'm coming from when it comes to stuff like that, I believe that everybody should be treated equally and everybody should have an equal opportunity to defend themselves, to present their cases and whatnot. But I think that there were a lot of people on this Diddy train that were just doing it because it was a trending topic, could get you a lot of views on YouTube and everywhere else people were watching it. And you didn't give a shit about the victims. You cared about making sure that you got views, making sure that people clicked and liked and supported your media company so that you could get all those benefits, and did not do anything beyond talking about Diddy and presenting this case and presenting the names of the victims, etc. You did nothing to support. It's the same thing as the R. Kelly situation. No different than the R. Kelly situation. So many of them women in that surviving R. Kelly documentary was like, I was left hanging. They pulled all this trauma out and they just left it there for me to figure out. Let me tell you something. I have a hard time with people who call themselves advocates and supporters of women and underserved people who don't do anything beyond talking about it. I created whole series and whole platforms and provided medical. In fact, the truth about the situation with Maya was one of the conditions of Maya being on the show was that she needed to get help from a therapist and make sure she made those appointments. And when we realized that it was a lot going on and she wasn't making those appointments, we said, Maya, we love you. You're funny. You're great. This is so great. But in order for us to have you continue on this show, this has to be about your healing journey and you actively taking the steps, not just being on the show to tell your story. That's why Sara sat and talked to a therapist on the show. And that conversation that Sara Stokes had with the therapist, I'm wrapping up, babe. The conversation that Sara had with the therapist on From the Bottom Up is a conversation that led the little girl across the street. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. This is game and it's free, but I just need some likes. I just need some likes. Y'all give me some likes. I'll sing another song on the way out the door. But I need some more likes. But um, Sara saying what she said about what happened with her father and how her father assaulted her. We discovered he was assaulting a serial predator in the community. The little girl who lived across the street saw the episode of Sara having therapy on From the Bottom Up. And she went over and she talked to her father, Sara's father's stepmother, the woman, his wife, and said, who was Sara talking about when she said that somebody assaulted her? And the stepmother lied and said, oh, she was talking about this guy because Sara was assaulted multiple times throughout her life and childhood. And you'll see that story in the documentary. But turns out that she found out that she was talking about the dad, which gave the girl courage to report Sara's father, saying that he had been actually assaulting her since she was a minor, like 13 years old. And her seeing Sara's bravery and Sara's fearlessness in the moment on From the Bottom Up, because Sara lived across the street from her and she's on this show on BET with Queen Latifah and Nikki Gilbert Daniels, gave this girl the courage to speak up about it. And because, you know, she was the kind that you can't do this to and get away with it. A lot of young black girls and brown girls, this happens all the time. If you get Sara's story, you will realize this is something that happens all the time. But she was somebody you don't do it with, if you get my drift. And they put him under the jail, went in and found all kinds of the PORN word and all sorts of messages and videos. And y'all, please, you got to watch the documentary. So back to the Diddy thing and the Sara thing. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But I do know I spent a lot of time with Sara, and I'm really shocked to know that these things were alleged to have happened to her with Diddy. They dismissed the claims. That's all I can say. The things that happened with her father were real. The things that happened with the man that her mother brought into the house were real. I don't know about what happened with Diddy. Something tells me that saying the fact that you had to walk for cheesecake and sleep in certain quarters and whatever, I don't know how that flies. Just because we watched it all happen on TV. So if Diddy is going to be held accountable for making him walk for cheesecake and all that other stuff, you know, it did air on the television network. And maybe, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there are other people who should be held accountable if that's what happened, right? So I'm gonna leave it alone because I'm tired. Like I said, I've been in the studio working on some stuff. We had a long day getting this audio right. Today's show was a little ghetto. Um, but I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining us here on Nights with Nicci. And I hope that, when this documentary comes out, because it will, I hope that, people respect how difficult it is for victims to speak up and aren't mean and disrespectful. We have a lot of content on WRF channel, and I see sometimes I try to stay out of the comment section, especially as someone who owns a platform or runs a platform. I don't want to get too caught up in it, but I see some of the comments and I'm just like, wow, that's like that's harsh. You see a family going through hell, you know that it's something that happens all the time, you know, to use some of the words that people use in the comment section to describe people. And, sometimes I'll go in or I'll ask, our admin to go in and delete, but it's just like, you'll be chasing bad comments, spend more time chasing bad content comments than putting together content and putting content up there. So I just, want to appeal to people who decide to get on the comment section and say horrible things about people who speak their truths and share their stories, and families that are going through hell. Again, these clips are old because the show has already aired. We got 3 seasons of From the Bottom Up, but and these people have moved on and they're doing much better in their lives. But imagine some young girls in a house listening to their parents really go at it, experiencing their parents, beat on each other and talk horribly to each other and get arrested and get sent to jail. And like, imagine the trauma that young women or young men or anybody feels being in a household where that kind of violence is happening, but being vulnerable and honest and real enough to be able to agree to allow us to share this story, to sign off on us sharing this, and then to see that people's comments are so mean and nasty and disrespectful and ignorant. Imagine a person who's looking at that video thinking, wow, this is so real. And I've had experiences like this. And I've seen this happen in my parents' household. And they go down in the comment section and they see how y'all dogging people out and disrespecting people. Somebody who might be pushed, like the blonde haired, blue eyed girl who saw Sara Stokes speaking about what her father did to her and was brave enough to tell the authorities, which ended up with this man being sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison. The judge said it's one of the worst cases of child neglect and cruelty that he's ever seen in his life. Imagine somebody not taking the step to report an abuser. Imagine somebody not taking the step to speak up if they're a victim of ex-trafficking. You can't say these words on these apps. But imagine that person deciding not to do it because they saw your comment, your discouraging, disrespectful, hateful, self-loathing comment about somebody being vulnerable enough to share their heart and their soul. So be cool, okay? Because we doing real healing at WIRF Media. We're doing real stories. And we're really praying to God that we reach real people and lots of them. So, yeah, I know I'm not doing the usual like dance routines on TikTok and YouTube, and I'm not doing the makeup tutorials, and I'm not showing y'all all my fancy yacht vacations because I ain't really had none. I'm telling you, I'm sharing stories and real authentic moments with hopes that the people that are watching it can really relate, because what's real speaks to the heart, and that maybe something that is said or shown or presented on this platform helps somebody who's struggling get past it, or at least be brave enough to speak up about it. But the way y'all people beat people down into submission and holding things, not y'all, because most of y'all ain't doing it. I'm sharing this with a few people who may be. But, just food for thought. It's just something to consider. So we talked about Gladys Knight. We are praying for Queen Gladys Knight. I respect her family, and I believe her family, and I support her family, and I will continue to amplify her story because she is family. Wendy Williams, it is like, man, this thing is such a roller coaster. It is just 1 minute she's good, the next minute it's not so good. I think we have to continue to pray. I think Wendy Williams is another example of somebody who just needs grace and needs people to stop holding her to a standard that they didn't hold Howard Stern to, that they don't hold TMZ to, that they don't hold all these other platforms that are out here making all of this money off of gossip. And that's what people are doing, hot topics and gossip. So Wendy deserves support, and Wendy deserves love. And Wendy's poured a lot into the community, and she made a lot of people a whole lot of money. So the fact that she has no control over the very basic necessities in her life is just really sad and hurtful and terrible. And as far as Sara Stokes, I got to show y'all this one last story before I get up out of here, because this is the feel good story that we're gonna wrap this live up with tonight. But the fact that Sara Stokes was not allowed to go forward in her case, I pray to God that she is victorious with her truth. But I do believe that a lot of times, I'm not even gonna say that. Diddy was not found guilty of all of those serious charges. What that man does in his bedroom and how he likes it, slap it up, flip it, rub it down, ain't none of our business. And the man should not have gone to jail for the rest of his life because of his sex life, if he's not out here doing all of that, all that stuff that they were accusing him of doing. Okay, guys, real quick, I want to show y'all this. My sister.
This is not the perfect workout. If you come in here and you think you're gonna get perfection, makeup, no, baby. What you're gonna get is some sweat. You're gonna get some commitment. You're gonna get some dedication. You're gonna get some determination.
Okay.
What you're gonna get is us saving our lives, and if you join us, saving yours too. That's what you're gonna get when you come in here.
I like that.
Did you like
what
that?
You get is us saving our lives, and if you join, you're gonna save your life too.
Hey. Uh-oh, let me find my there we go. Hey everybody. Wake up everybody. That's my girl Monique. Listen, I have so much love for Monique. She is kicking off on her YouTube channel. She is doing a lifestyle and fitness channel where she is working out with people, getting the heart rate going, getting positive energy and positive vibes out there. Listen, you can't say nothing bad about Monique, baby. That's my sister. She is somebody who checks in on me all the time. She is, whether it's a text message or phone call or a DM or just some words of encouragement, whatever. I love me some Monique, and I love Dwight. Many of you don't know, but Dwight actually helped do the choreography for me for my video Fly. So I'm gonna put that up. Did I know Dwight before Monique? Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, Monique is doing something really special on her YouTube channel. You guys see me working out all the time. Mind, body, and spirit wellness is tantamount in this world that we live in today. It is so important for us to figure out some way to manage the stress and the grief and the heartache and the trauma and the drama. And Monique is doing it on her channel. Get moving with Monique. Make sure you guys check out her YouTube channel and support it. I'm going to be definitely participating in some of her lives and some of her workout videos because I love her. I do. She can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's it, you guys, for tonight. I'm going to come back tomorrow night for Fun and Fabulous Fridays. Like I said, Brownstone is in the lab. We did a wonderful record, you guys. I cannot wait for you to hear this. It's so good. It's so good. I know I'm hyping it up, but it's so good. And it's not what you expect. I will tell you that. And the producer that produced this record is like one of the biggest producers ever in the whole wide world. There are none bigger. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. So I won't hype it up too much. Hype me up. Hype me up. Please visit brownstoneofficial.com. Go to wirfmedia.com if you are interested in doing anything with us. Ooh, that's loud. If you're interested in doing anything with Worth Media, we are putting new content out there. If you're interested in auditioning for our drama series Curtains, we are having live auditions in Detroit in September and in Atlanta in September. And we are looking for new faces. We are looking for talented people who deserve the opportunity to show the world what they're working with. You got to be able to sing, you got to be able to dance, and you got to be able to act your ass off. Not every character has to sing and dance, but the women, all the performers definitely have to act and dance. And I think half of them have to be able to sing. So go to noegoentertainment.com, NOEGO entertainment.com, and submit your auditions, You guys, September 29th, we are in the Supreme Court of the United States long conference, which means they are going into a closed door conference room and considering whether or not they are going to grant writ of certiorari. So we will be having a prayer on that 28th, the Sunday night before that Monday. So you guys make sure if you don't come back for any live, you come back for our prayer for on Sunday the 28th. And last thing I'm gonna say, I think Creatives Equality Awareness Month kicks off through From the Bottom Up Foundation's Creatives Coalition Initiative. So please go to fromthebottomupfoundation.org and look up Creatives Coalition and please register for those conversations. Every Sunday in September, we're going to have a special conversation with creatives who care about us having equality and better conditions and better, just healthier lives for your creatives overall, right? We're kicking off Creatives Equality Awareness Month in September. I am your host, Nicci Gilbert Daniels. Thank y'all for watching me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my new friends over at TikTok. I love y'all. Have a great evening. Be safe, and God bless you. Peace.